Hello there ladies and gentlemen, today we begin our week looking at midpoint control with a Guardian strategy analysis. First I'm going to run you through this build and then we have some gameplay to break down and analyse a little bit later on. While a number of different professions can be really effective at holding down the middle point of a map, I find the Guardian to have the best combination of qualities needed in a midpoint build. On Wednesday we'll talk a little bit about the other professions and builds and get really in depth in midpoint control tactics, so stay tuned for that in a couple of days time in our tips and tactics episode, but for now we're going to check out this build. So for the weapon sets, we've gone with a Mason Shield in the first weapon set. This is a highly defensive combination. We get a symbol in there for regeneration on the Symbol of Faith on the number 2. Really short cooldown on that, just 8 seconds. It gives us near constant regen. We've got a block there as well on the number 3, which also gives us protection. More protection from the number 4 ability. And the number 5 gives us an AoE knockback and a little bit of healing as well. Really powerful combination. Should also take note that Faithful Strike there on the third hit of the Mace auto attack heals us a little bit as well, healing of 506, so a fairly strong heal there just on that ability there. For our second weapon we've gone with a hammer. This is something you can mix up a little bit depending on your playstyle. You could perhaps go with a greatsword as well, as this would give you a little bit more damage towards the build, and it also gives you the very nice ability number 5 on the greatsword, gives you a nice pull as well, which can be really useful at times. But yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit later, but yeah, we'll go with the hammer. Is probably the best bet for just holding down a point and securing that area. The hammer's main combination you're going to be using is the number 4, Banish, which gives a really long knockback on the target, a blowout of 750. Really powerful ability there. You can then chain that with the number 3, which is a range immobilize for 2 seconds. Keep them at range, and it also gives you the number 5 ability, the Ring of Warding, which is brilliant for Area of the Nile and stuff like that, so you can actually block off areas of the map, stop choke points, and stop players from getting able to get onto point. Really great for doing that sort of thing. Also can be used to keep a player close to you if you want to stop someone from getting a rally or something like that. You can lock a player inside and lock the rest of the players outside. So really powerful abilities there. So next up, our heal, we've gone with the Signet of Resolve. Heals a condition every 10 seconds and heals yourself on a really powerful heal. 40-second cooldown on that though, which is quite harsh, but you can reduce that by trading if you wished. For the utility skills, we decided to run with 2 shouts and a Signet. The 2 shouts are really helpful, and they couple in with the rest of this build as well and work really well together with certain rune choices and stuff like that we've made as well. But Stand Your Ground grants stability, retaliation and a stun break. A really powerful ability there, only on a 30-second cooldown. Absolutely brilliant there. It's untraded as well for that cooldown, so very strong. Hold the Line as well, grant protection and regeneration to allies. Brilliant bit of damage mitigation there, and even boosting this the protection uptime we have, coupled there with the Protector's Strike and the Shield of Judgment. The last one, the Signet of Judgment, reduces incoming damage by 10%, which is huge. This gives us a 43% damage reduction when we've got protection up, which is massive. If you trigger it, you gain retaliation and grant weakness to nearby allies, weakness to nearby enemies, sorry. While that is retaliation is a very powerful boon in general, but it's not really worth activating this. You might as well just leave it there, just ticking away, giving yourself that 10% reduced damage intake, which is massive, coupled with high toughness as well, and the protection like I said before. Pretty much you're just going to leave that on there. You could swap it out if you wanted to be a bit more active. Maybe you could change it out and have save yourselves to draw conditions from nearby allies onto yourself, but you haven't got a huge amount of condition removal. You've got some, but you don't want to be pulling more conditions onto yourself, so you've got to be careful with that. But that would give you some even more powerful protection uptime of 12 seconds there, and retaliation for 12 seconds, so again that's a very powerful ability. Bear in mind though, there is a 60-second cooldown on that. The elite choice we've gone with is Renewed Focus. This basically means our virtues can be triggered more often. We can burn them all off, trigger that, and then they'll have them all back up straight away. It also gives us invulnerability while it's charging for 3 seconds, but do bear in mind when you are invulnerable you will not be contesting a point, so if you're fighting 1v1 against someone on a point and you trigger this ability, they will be capping it even if you're standing still on point. So yeah, do bear that in mind, but only a 90-second cooldown on that. It's a fairly powerful ability in general, can be a bit of a lifesaver. You can mix in one of the tombs, perhaps say the Tomb of Courage, there to give yourself some powerful support spells, but you need to couple that with Stand Your Ground, so you need to have Stand Your Ground off cooldown and triggering it as you go into the tomb. So yeah, it can be useful. Protection uptime on that as well, which is fairly effective, but yeah, it's just a personal choice on this elite skill really. So for our armoured runes, we've gone with the superior runes of the soldier, giving us toughness and vitality in shouts remover condition. This is basically boosting up and making these shouts more useful. We can now use them for a bit of condition removal, and they're on fairly short cooldowns as well, so that makes them a bit more effective. For the sigil choices in the weapons, these are something you can really mix up to fit your own playstyle. Do not bear these aren't hard and fast rules at all. You can even make it a bit more tanky if you wanted to, but this is just stuff that I was playing around with at the time. But yeah, you can really mix these up if you want. So in the hammer we've got the Sigil of Battle, which gives us 3 stacks a month when we swap weapons. Basically just makes the hammer a bit more powerful, because it's not too much of a powerful weapon really damage wise. Gives a little bit more damage on that. But to be honest, you could change that to anything you want. There's pretty much no limit there on rune choices. Don't go for anything crit based. On kill things like that are good, and weapon swap things are good. For the mace, we've gone with the gain 10 power each time you kill a foe, so this is a fairly good. I do like these sigils of superior power, the ones that give you bloodlust or things like that, which boost up your stats every kill you get. I find them really effective later on in the match, especially these bunker builders that tend not to die too often. If you can really defend yourself effectively, they can become really strong and give you a bit more survivability or a bit more damage. So you could either have this one or really the healing one are probably your 2 best options. In the shield, we've gone for the superior rune of leeching, superior sigil of leeching, sorry, and that's going to give us a little bit of life steal as well. We swap into this weapon set, so again, not a really powerful choice there. The sigil's a little bit hard really to mix in with this build, but yeah, you can really go anywhere you want with them. If you have any good suggestions for sigil choices we could have made, post them in the comments below. Next up, for the amulet, we've chosen to go with the PvP Soldier's Amulet, giving us power, toughness and vitality. Fairly standard choice here. Quite a bit of power coming in from that, so we can actually still dish out some solid damage and toughness and vitality as well. Another option I have seen some people run with is the Cleric's Amulet, which gives us toughness, power and healing power, but I find the loss of HP can be quite devastating really. You haven't got any more toughness from that, you've only gained the healing power. So whilst it's going to make your natural regeneration stronger and the heal stronger there, it's not really going to make enough difference to really counter things like the Trebuchet on Kylo and stuff like that, which can cause you serious problems. You need to have over 20k HP, I find, really. So yeah, that's why we went with the Soldier's Amulet in general, but if you do feel you want to take the risk, and on certain maps it can certainly work, run with a Cleric's Amulet or something else if that takes your fancy. So for our traits, we've got 0, 0, 20, 30, 20. It does have a little bit of wiggle room in here though as well, and I'll run you through that as we go through. So we've got 20 points in Valor, gain Aegis when your health reaches 50%, but then lose condition every 10 seconds, our first active choice. Really important trait to take there. The second choice we made was gain 90 toughness when wielding a shield and reduces shield cooldowns by 20%. This is a hit and miss kind of one. It can be effective. Getting the cooldown there on the Shield of Absorption can help a lot, as that's a really powerful AoE knockback to can make a big difference, and it gives you a bit more protection at time as well on the Shield of Judgment. But the second choice you could make is this 10 points here in Radiance for the Signet's recharge 20% faster, giving you more uptime there on your heal, so that can be definitely a better choice if you want to be healing more. It just depends on how you want to play it really. On 30 points, we've gone for 1 second of figure on critical hits, endure your dodge roll, heals nearby allies, and deal more damage at low endurance. That's basically all buffing up our dodges. A really nice synergy there for Inby Arena there in that line. So yeah, basically it's going to buff up. We want to be dodging a lot. It's going to get good heals coming in as well. I never really realised the power of healing from these dodge rolls until it was pointed out of me in the comments of a previous video I did. It's really strong, and yeah, definitely bear that in mind. And obviously if you're on low endurance, you're going to deal more damage as well. Our active choices are all about symbols, so symbols are larger, symbols last longer, and all symbols heal allies. The main one this is really going to be buffing up is here for the Symbol of Faith, a really powerful ability. Also, if you're wielding the Great Sword, you also get the symbol on that one as well, which is going to help. 20 points in Virtues. Now this first choice is a little bit of a weird one. Retaliation lasts 25% longer. If you do have the Great Sword, this helps a lot because you're going to have a lot of retaliation uptime in the Great Sword when you're wielding that. But in general, it's not that great, but there's really not a better choice you could really make here. There are definitely some other options. Of course, you gain 3 seconds of retaliation when you're dazed, stunned, knocked down, knocked back, blah blah blah. That's on a 30-second recharge, so it's not really all that powerful. Obviously, it does give you the combo feel, but yeah, not really too strong. Spirit Weapons is useless for us. So that's pretty much the only choice you can really make going this on, because we really want to get this one here a little bit later on. Activating Virtual Resolve removes 3 conditions, and the passive effect is stronger, so it's going to give us more healing and more condition removal. So now we've got some fairly solid condition removal. We're going to remove 2 conditions every 10 seconds thanks to this and our trait. We're going to have automatic condition removal on our shouts, and then we're going to be able to remove 3 conditions on the Virtue of Resolve. So that's what we had to go that far into that line, and this retaliation one's only really that powerful if you have gone for the Great Sword in the opposite weapon set to the Mace and Shield. We're now going to get into a little bit of gameplay and break down a few clips. So this first encounter is something that I've actually commentated on before. This was a match we did a couple of weeks ago, and it's a really good example of a classic midpoint fight. So we're on the Forest of Niflheim on the central point, currently backed up by a ranger. It's fairly standard to have two people around your middle point. Some team setups will go sort of one player on the near point, two on mid, one roaming, one pushing the far point. Some teams may have two roaming, just one on mid, something like that. Some people might go very defensive, have two back on their near point. It just really depends on what the other team are doing, and you just dynamically change it. But for this match, we've got these two players on mid at the moment, so it's me supported by a condition build ranger. So we've got the initial engagement coming in now, so we've got a ranger coming in behind us, and we instantly trigger our knockback here. Kind of a waste, you should really hold onto it for a little bit longer, but we didn't want to get pressured too hard. We wanted to get them out the flow of their opening combination. A lot of burst builds around at the moment, so this is basically a good way to stop that. So when we hit the knockback on the number 5, it knocks them back, but instantly makes them in camouflage because they're traded to do that. So you see they disappear for a brief moment. We're on point. There they go. They reappear now, and it's still blocking their attacks for a few seconds afterwards. You can see it taking the damage, and we're not getting hit by it at all, and just staying on point. There we're getting the protection up time from the Shield of Absolution. Laying down the symbol on the floor as well, also really important. It's going to give us regeneration to us and our teammate. You've got to bear in mind that we are supporting our teammate as well. This is a build that, while it is fairly self-focused in what we've actually built it for, it actually really assists your teammates very effectively. Your shouts will affect the teammates around you, so your virtues and stuff like that as well. So even though we've built it to be buffing ourselves and focusing on ourselves and keeping ourselves alive, passively it's also going to be helping our teammates a lot and really making a big difference on them. So we can see now we've got a second player coming onto point as well. So we've actually got a Guardian and Ranger versus another Guardian and Ranger, and a third player as well turning up for the red team here as well. So the Ranger there the Ranger for the other team just burnt off his quickness boot. It set up 15 stacks of bleeding on us, which is really hurting. So at this point we should be burning one of our shouts to get rid of that stack off of us pretty damn quickly, because it's really hurting us. You can see it tearing us down, trying to heal up there. For some reason we're also clicking the skills there. Don't click buttons. I think it's just a moment of panic or something like that. But yeah, anyway, skills got clicked there. But yeah, you can see we did eventually actually use the shout, which got rid of the stack of bleeding off of us, triggering our virtues there. So this is just us tanking some of the damage. Now this is a dangerous move. We've triggered off our renewed focus, so our teammate needs to now stay on point, or otherwise they're going to start capping it and taking control of it. So our teammate does a good job there, keeping their feet actually in the area, and they really hold on to it very effectively. Our stability boon as well is just completely mitigating the point that Guardian made by laying down the Sanctuary there. That would have caused us some issues, knockback and stuff like that, but we've got stability. We also buffed our teammate's stability, and it completely countered that very effectively. Now most of our utilities are on cooldown now, and we're getting pressured pretty hard. This is a 3v2 or a 4v2, I think, even possibly now. We're definitely getting hit pretty damn hard up here as it stands. Yeah, but the mace and shield combination does give you a fairly solid uptime on abilities as well, so you can keep protection up quite hard. So we can see in the bottom top right now, our teammate has gone down and it's in the defeated state. We've got someone there going in for the finisher on them. We dodge roll to avoid any CC that might be coming our way, and instantly pop our shield to knock anyone back off of them. So the dodge roll there stopped them from actually stopping us at all. It gave us an instant heal and a heal on them when the dodge finished off, because of the way we've got that traitors. That's given them a little bit more survivability. Buff their HP up a little bit, just passively there without even having to do anything. Getting on top and popping the shield also gave us the knockback, give us a chance to get down and now grant them a revive. Downside is here we have no stability boon. Our stability's off. The other team, however, don't seem to have any CC to stop us, and we get the full revive off there before they're able to finish us off. And it is in fact a 4v2 at the moment, and it has been for the last few seconds of this encounter at least. So again, we're just applying that protection to our teammate, trying to keep ourselves both up and alive. Stability, trying to keep that up on our teammate as well, because we don't want to be getting disabled too much, because that would be causing us problems. He's going in for a finisher there on one of their teammates, and they're actually too focused on me here, and you can see I've been gone into the down state, and they're coming in trying to finish us off. One of them's going for the revive on their teammate, but they're not paying enough attention to my own teammate, who gets the finisher there, an instant revive on me, and back up on my feet straight away, healing quickly. That heal gives a massive boost. You saw it there, HP flying back up. Really, really powerful heal that is. Again, here we're just running around, basically using our mace there just to dish out basically some constant steady healing on ourselves. Every third hit, like I said, it grants the heal, which is going to be boosting ourselves up quite effectively. You can also see we have Vigor uptime very effectively. It's up quite a lot of the time at the moment because we're fighting against players who do have quite high crit rates. And there again, we're getting another revive on our teammate. And this is just the pressure of these 4 players against the 2. It's just they're just not able to dish out enough damage. They're focusing on me too much and not on the Ranger, which is the job as a good Guardian. You want to be annoying the hell out of them. You want to be keeping them focused on you in these team fights. And this is really, you should have more support for coming in from your team at this point. There should be another player from the blue team coming up to help, and this fight would have been over a lot quicker. But as you can see, there's 2 players down for the red team now already. They're going for a revive there. It looks like they might manage to get it just in time. Teammate going in for the finishing blow. Unfortunately, we've got no CC here. So this is a moment. This build is actually using the Greatsword. So we could, at that point, swap into the Greatsword and use the number 5 ability for the pull. Or if we'd had the hammer, use the number 4 ability for the knockback ability, banish. So yeah, we should have really hit them with some sort of CC there, and we could have interrupted that revive and got that completely covered and get that player down very quickly. But we see our teammate once again laying down a field to try and keep us alive. So he's laid down a his heal skill, which gives us a water AoE field, which grants us regeneration and removing conditions. However, they're getting spiked now pretty hard as well, and we're both going to end up going into downstate in a few seconds, I believe. So luckily, this basically the field we're on is keeping us alive. This healing field is keeping us with regeneration on us, so stopping us from getting completely defeated. We go into the downstate here, and now here is a beautiful move using this setup. The number 3 ability in the downstate for the Guardian is a symbol. Now bear in mind, we know how powerful the symbols are with healing, and when you're in the downstate, healing can be very effective and very, very strong. Watch how quickly we heal up our teammate now. In the top left hand corner, we see their HP just flying back up from our symbol, kicking in their HP. And they're actually going to get a full revive there thanks to our symbol, getting themselves back up on their feet. We get the teammate revival popping up on our screen, so really effective use of our downstate abilities there to get our teammate back up and fighting. They're able to now comfortably come and revive us. We can see on the left hand side of the map, you can't actually fully make it out. There we go. There was a down player over there as well, which they're trying to deal with. Our teammate's going to wait and get the full revive off on us, and we're getting back up on our feet once again. And now all our shouts, are back off cooldowns, so we can be triggering those again, getting those buffs back up and going again. We head over here, we see this downed Guardian. We need to make sure we're finishing them off because we don't want them getting back up on their feet too quickly. Here we should really have procced our stability boon on the shout, because that would have made this impossible for us to them to stop us from getting this finisher off. We've got enough HP to handle it. We proc it then after we were already knocked back, unfortunately. Bit bad timing there and overall, but yeah, we're still going to manage to get the finishing blow off on this Guardian. There he goes down, and we're just basically tanking the damage of that other Guardian. Even though they are a offensive build using a Greatsword there, which is a fairly powerful weapon for the Guardian, we can just take the damage. We can mitigate it fairly effectively. The protection uptime, the regeneration, the healing from the symbols just all comes together to keep ourselves nice and alive. And we can see it there as well, our teammate bringing down the other player in the background. So this has gone from a 4v2 against us into a 2v1 against this Guardian, and our teammate there laying down a whole load of conditions. We're laying down our symbol fields, which is dishing out some more damage as well. He's getting dazed as well, getting hard pressure coming on that Guardian there and bringing him down. It's a really good combination of player setup, really having this condition build on the Ranger combined with our power build work really effectively. And you can see there as well, we had the stability boon up, which stopped them from getting a knockback on us in that final moment there. We're going to get into another clip right now. So with this next clip, I'm just going to do it in normal speed just through fear of basically dragging this video on too long. But I wanted to talk a little bit about playing it safe and not putting yourself into any dangerous positions when you're just in a 1v1. These sort of builds are able to easily handle 1v1 pressure. You don't need to risk anything at all. So we've had this Elementalist come up against us. They popped their shield there, which is very nice, and they managed to avoid some of our abilities. Here they popped off their elite skill, the Tornado, trying to knock us out, but we countered that with stability on one of our shouts, which instantly buffed it up. Unfortunately, it wears off before the Tornado. Tornado has a fairly long duration, but we countered it fairly effectively to start off with. The block there as well is soaking up some of the damage, and basically he burnt off his elite skill there and has done nothing to us. We've got a couple of our shouts on cooldown, and that's it. We've had to do hardly anything to counter him in general. He's now on low HP as well. So now we're just playing it safe. We don't want to basically run off our point in case we get someone to come behind us or something like that. We want to make sure we've got our feet on here, line of sighting them there, just staying around the corner. and punting them back there using the banish ability, a really powerful skill that is for this sort of gameplay where you're just trying to stay on point, not put yourself in any danger. There's no need to risk anything at all. We're in control, we've got the point, they want to take it from us. Here again, they tried to run on point then, but we're just able to apply enough pressure to push them back and fall back and just sit back. HP is being re-ticked up, we're getting regeneration and the healing from the symbol. We can use that very effectively as well quite often. You can just keep that symbol up as much as possible. We're getting it back up there, constantly healing. He's got a teammate coming in now, so now we've got a bit of trouble. We've played it safe, they weren't able to do anything. We could have maybe gone for a finisher, but there wasn't any need. We don't want to risk it too much. This is where good communication will come in, because you want to call your teammates in to come and support you in this encounter. And there we go, there's one of our teammates arriving. So we've got a bit of pressure now. We've got two players going on, but they're both fairly squishy builds, and the Elementalist is taking some pretty heavy damage and is now in the down state. Using our knockback there as well to try and get the enemies away from him. He's going to go in for a revive. Again, getting the knockback there on the number 4 to stop him from getting the full rally. Good use of that ability there. Number 5 as well, getting another knockdown in, dishing out the final bit of damage to defeat that ranger as well. So a good play there. That basically all came out through playing it safe through that initial encounter at the start. And yeah, not putting ourselves in any danger, and just good communication. Our teammate came in and helped us out just at the right moment, just as their teammates arrived, and getting a quick 2 kills, not losing any control of the point, and still you can see at the top controlling the whole map. So for this next encounter, we're on the Battle of Kylo, and this map is an interesting central point. It's quite raised up, and there's a lot of positions where you can knock people down and knock them around quite effectively. So this makes this hammer and shield build really effective, because you've got those 2 knockbacks, and they're both fairly long range, especially Banish here on the hammer. You're going to see good use of it here. We've been fighting against this Guardian. Our teammate was there holding onto the middle point, and we're going to basically banish them back and just get rid of them, just get them out of the fray. We knocked them back, and they actually fall off the ledge completely. A bit of a waste here on the number 3 ability. I think we thought they were going to actually stay on the ledge. We didn't think we had quite enough range on them, but they just managed to fall off. And as you know, the consequence was we wasted the number 3 ability for a 15-second cooldown, but we did get rid of them and get them out of the fray, and that's going to secure us this cap on the central point. You can see them now coming back up as we switch into the mace and shield combination. This is going to give us the bit of areas now. We should probably have stayed in the hammer there, as we could have laid down the ring of warding to block off this area here where they need to go through to get onto the point. We could have choked them off there and held them back. Instead we have switched into the mace and shield combo, so we're stuck in that for now for the time being. We're getting some good healing off there on our teammates. We can see they've got a bit of pressure coming in. They've got 3 players heading up towards the point. We've now got control of it, however, though, so it's just a matter of keeping our feet on the area. Again, you see now they're pushing it onto the point. This is where we really want to switch into the hammer and lay down that ring of warding, keep them off. But they are now going to cross over that line and get on point. Our teammate there, the engineer, laying down a big old bomb, which is going to give us some good CC as well. It's going to cause a knockback effect and get rid of a few of them at least. There we go, so they're not back triggering there. So again, good use of CC, pushing them back, keeping them from actually managing to knock us off the point at all. And here once again we've got another good position there on that Ranger. They're in a good position to be punted back and knocked away. Coming in with the number 3 ability for the immobilization. Unfortunately it doesn't work that effectively over lines. Oh, sorry, when you're on a higher ground than they are, sometimes it doesn't trigger and doesn't get the full line of sight, as was what happened there. But we come in with the banish and knock them back. It's absolutely brilliant fun to do as well, is to send them flying like that. But yeah, we send them off there. Their teammate's coming up onto the here, and he actually lays down a line of warning. So this is what we should have been doing before. Not perfect positioning by him there, but fairly good. But we're going to direct counter that and actually try to trick him a little bit by laying our own line of warding down on top of it. And then we're going to pop our stability boon on the our utility skill. There we go, popping it there. So now we're going to actually be able to move through the lines, and he's not, and he gets knocked down there and caught in it. So yeah, good use there. Basically you managed to trick him into actually running onto what he thought was probably only his line and actually triggering R1, and we knock him back there again. So another good use of knockback to get him off the point, but he countered that very effectively with a flash back on. But yeah, we did a fairly good job there. I mean, of course he's now put an ability on a very long cooldown there, one of his meditations I believe that is, that gets you back on point that quickly to a jump back towards a target. Also you can see here he's the Guardian as well, but he's in a great sword build, which is going to be take a hell of a lot more damage because he's built for power and meditations, whereas this shout based build has a lot more defensive uptime, a lot more protection uptime, sorry, and regeneration uptime, so we're able to take his damage fairly effectively, and just doing a fairly solid job of holding on to this point so far. I mean, we've had good pressure throughout this encounter. You can see there another good knockback, knocking the players off the edge. Really important area. The area of deniability there on the number 5 on the hammer, laying that down to block the lines of sight, the area of denial off on those choke points, as well as combining that with a hammer punting ability and the number 5 on the shield. Makes this a really powerful build to play on Kylo. So I'm going to bring the episode to a close now. I hope you've enjoyed it. Don't forget to come back on Wednesday to check out our tips and tactics episode on midpoint control. We're going to look at a few different builds. We're going to have some build examples in that show. We're going to have loads of other content. It's going to be very similar to what we did last week with near point control. So yeah, if you want to check out some near point stuff, check out our shows from last week. They were really good fun to do as well. Hope you've enjoyed this episode. Leave us some comments and feedback below. Thank you all very much.